Entire neighborhoods about to become virtual ghost towns. All right, friends, welcome to the channel. Always an honor and a privilege to be with you. I hope you're all doing great. Buckle up and strap in. We got a hard-hitting pull, no punches, no sugarcoating it, no rainbows, no sunshine. We're just going to give it to you and give it to you straight report. We got a good one to unpackage today. The elephant in the room right now is the investor. The investor is in massive, massive trouble, friends. Listen, this was a casino climate, a money dump, euphoria, herd mentality, FOMO, you name it. Throw a dart at an economic challenge map. We're hitting something threatening the U.S. Real estate market. And the realities are, friends, I've talked about this many times. If you're new to the show, welcome. But the U.S. real estate market in specific is the biggest asset class in the world. It's capable of delivering a knockout blow to the economy. You have seen nothing yet until you've lived through a real estate crash. I see a lot of new agents completely minimizing what's going on out there, needing to normalize this, of course, out of self-preservation. That's an easy one to see. But the realities are, friends, investors are in massive trouble because when this low interest rate environment, the euphoria, the overstimulation of all asset classes and the biggest economy in the world, it attracted a lot of investor involvement. We've never seen investor involvement like we've seen in this boom cycle. So this boom cycle is very scary, as good as it may have felt for a lot of people enjoying maybe what was construed as the wealth effect. You felt rich on paper, unrealized wealth. Maybe you saw some gains in your real estate. It made you spend differently. This was very short-sighted, and that's why I've always, kind of cautioned us. Let's get in front of this. We need to be cautious in these times. I don't think this is the time for speculation. Maybe some people at the very top that knew exactly what was going on here were able to manipulate the market, spend a little time in the markets and get out, take their money and run. But the majority of the population, investors as well, they're in massive, massive trouble right now. So the realities are this, friends. Most of these investors started pouring into this real estate market, building as fast as they could, but with the labor and material shortages that were going on, they were severely handicapped. We've already had a lot of reports of these brand new spec home, cookie cutter, FOMO factory homes full of bubble buyers already falling apart on these new owners. They cannot get these homes built to any sort of quality standards. It was just a complete race against the clock. Then as soon, we've talked about this, for anybody that's watched this channel for a while knows, for me, I've always said the second this market exhibited bubble behavior, that's when we should have done interest rate hikes. We kicked the can way too far down the road, and now we're in a big, fat, ugly mess. So the investors poured in, and speculation was running wild. They believe the narrative. A lot of the people that are working in the back end of our offices in management of these big firms are young people. Even old people alike, they wanted to believe this time somehow would be different. Listen, for me, friends, interest rate hikes clearly are the most aggressive tool that we have in order to try to tame the markets without crashing them. Is the hat trick. But I believe even if we had kept interest rates artificially low, we were headed for, at some point, a downturn. Something was going to come equalize these markets. You just can't have run-ups the way we've had run-ups and think that it's somehow going to continue on. It's not mathematically possible. It was defying gravity. What goes up must come down. It always has been now what will be, in fact, the catalyst to deliver the knockout blow. And because real estate's local, all areas, of course, are going to behave differently. I was talking to somebody here in town, and I continue to see real estate agents like a deer in the headlights right now. And a lot of them know, even though I'm a pretty private guy, I'm a kind of a public figure. And so a lot of times when agents see me, they can't even talk to me because they know what I'm saying has been, in fact, the truth. And it's hard to argue with the truth. But I was talking to somebody last night, ran into at a social event. They're like, "Hey, Scott, what do you think about, the inventory here in where we live?" And I said, well, it's artificially low, of course, and it's keeping prices propped up. One of the things that you have to know about places like where we live in the multi-million-dollar district is that we will be slightly recession insulated, but we're not recession proof. We can pull and see what we did in past real estate booms and busts. We joined the party. We were just the last to do it, maybe the first to climb out, but we took our lumps in this one as well. So real estate's local. All areas will behave differently, but a lot of these spec homes, they build what's called, or a lot of these investors that build spec homes, the first thing that goes up is, depending on how many floor plans are available in these planned unit developments, they'll build their model homes first, get sales agents there, tour people through, stage them and furnish them to perfection, designed from think tanks on how to get you to, write an offer or to commit to the price. And that's what we call FOMO factories. They're the fear of missing out factories. You walk through, they're beautiful. Now, when your house gets handed over to you, it's a white shell. It looks nothing like the staged home that you toured. And in this case, in this bubble, we're already getting reports that not only do they not look anything like the home you toured, they're falling apart. So we've got big issues on that alone, but it gets better or worse depending on how you look at it. What we're seeing now, my friends, is the investors have started these projects prior to interest rate hikes. So they're backed up against a wall severely. And a lot of the areas that they piled into are now recording declines in property value. So they're trying to get in front of this however they can. Now, we've heard about a lot of wackiness with rate buy downs. A rate buy down is somehow they can try to get their price, buy down the rate, and the only reason they're doing rate buy downs is not to get you to fall, well, it's probably partly, but the main reason for a rate buy down is because if you've got hundreds of more homes to sell through, the last thing you want to do is start dropping prices. You're better off just buying down the rate. That way, the rest of your homes, you can continue to keep them propped up and priced the best you can. Now, this is a complete race against the clock. We saw this in the 2008 bubble. A lot of these developments that popped up, you have phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, maybe 4 phases of construction. You build out the first phase, then you get started and sell through them. You start through to the second phase. We saw developments, I've seen out here in California in the desert area, complete ghost towns, streets, fire hydrants, power lines, everything's there but houses. It just stopped. Everything came to a grinding hole. And with what we see now with bankruptcies starting to spike, commercial real estate in trouble, banks absolutely exposed right now. This is one hiccup away from exactly that. You will see ghost towns appear in a lot of these developments if they don't get built out. And even if they get fully built out with all phases of construction, there's a good chance by the time they finish phase 4, phase 1 is already defaulting on their mortgages. And then that foreclosure crisis starts to sweep through. I mean, anybody that doesn't see this one coming, any investor or builder out there ignoring the elephant in the room, my guess is most of them have had the conversation that in a roundabout way that we're having here today. Hey, listen, we need to get sold through. We got to buy down rates and instead of dropping prices. Unfortunately, a lot of them are doing both now. They're buying down the rates and having to drop the price to get these things sold through. I'm a little concerned for some of these builders out here being able to even finish up construction. They are in a complete race against the clock. And final thoughts, I do come to you as a friend, as a content creator, as a real estate guy that wants to see you not only win in real estate, win in life. Understand the biggest artificially induced housing bubble ever produced in world history will have its blowback. The dust will settle, and we will pay the piper for that mistake. The realities are now, friends, we've got a lot of things to contend with, but I believe the investor involvement was, in fact, a huge error in this one, and I believe they're going to contribute potentially to the downturn that we see for the reasons we've talked about today. They're underneath a massive amount of construction projects with the race against the clock to get them sold. Real estate's not going to go back up overnight. It's just not. You're flatlining or seeing declines at best. This thing is now teetering on a razor's edge. We continue to cover economics, politics, and the social climate of everything that's going on out there in society. As a trained salesman, I know it will come down to the psychology of people and the psychology of sales. Data will tell us what happened, but it's not going to tell us what's going to happen necessarily if you can't get a proper read on people's confidence in these markets. It's clearly been shaken, and the builders know this. This is a big moment in time. We're going to have to continue to heat map and monitor this one every step, because it's not only what we need, it's in fact what we deserve. If you appreciate the content and want to humbly ask you to give a video a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Social media links in the description of this video if you'd like to contact me there, along with links to channels I've appeared on I think you might enjoy. If you need help buying or selling real estate here in America, I have the biggest network of top-rated agents in the nation ready to assist you. It'd be our honor and our privilege to do so. Email in the description for you as well. Also, if you're watching from your television set today and you like this video, I think you're going to love the next video, and there's an easy subscribe icon for your convenience. As always, thank you for your time. Please go make it count today. I'll see you on the next video.